Happy Monday, crafty friends. The Pinkfresh Studio February release went live today, and I'm excited to share this card with you that I've created using some of the new goodies. So, first, we are going to take the Circle Florals stamp set, and we're going to grab those floral elements that are included on the one stamp set, and we are going to get them stamped and ready to heat emboss. So while I go through that process here in the video, I wanted to mention that we have kind of two shaped product suites that we're releasing this month, the circle version and an arch version. And they are simply fantastic, and they work really great within their suite, pardon me. But what I'm showcasing here today, and I actually realized I did this a lot on my cards, is that they actually work together really well. So you'll see I'm using the florals from the Circle Florals in this set. Currently, I'm just inking it up with some clear embossing ink after prepping my paper with some anti-static powder. And I'm getting that image stamped, and then we're going to go ahead and heat emboss that. And we'll talk about more of those products here in a minute. But if you checked out the first image that I shared with you, I am pairing these circle floral images with the nested arches. So just to showcase that it's really versatile and they really can be used interchangeably. So for today's card, I am heat embossing in the gold pearl embossing powder from Wow. My friend Dee turned me on to this embossing powder. It is utterly fantastic. It is like a kind of a very more yellow shade of gold. It is a little less bold, so it's a little bit more soft. Absolutely love it. So if you are looking for a new shade of gold, something to mix it up in your embossing powders, I would highly suggest checking this one out because it's really, really lovely. And I just love how it turns out. I never feel like my camera does it, or excuse me, my video camera does it the proper feel or look, but I think when you see it in photos, you will. So now we're going to take the coordinating layering stencils for this set, and we're just going to ink blend in all of those images. And as I go through the stencils, you're going to see some additional items on those stencils. Like this one has the circle so that you can ink blend a really nice circle if you want to. So we added some fun elements into these stencils as well. I am using our new small brushes. These are the 1/2 inch blender brushes. They come in a set of 6. And I am using it to ink blend up these flowers so that I don't accidentally ink blend the things I don't want to ink blend. So now we're switching to Coral Reef, which is my favorite ink color from Pinkfresh, and we are filling in some details. Don't be afraid to mix and match colors that aren't in the same color family. Peach Fuzz and Coral Reef are complementary, and they work beautifully together. You'll notice as we go through these next few stencils that we had some room on the stencils, so we went ahead and put some additional sentiments that you can ink blend in them. And then the coordinating die set for this particular product suite has dies, so you can cut those stenciled words out as well. So stencil 3 is just the final detail layer for the flowers, and we are finishing those up in passion fruit. We are moving on. I think we have 2 more stencils left, and this is the greenery. I'm using one of my current favorite uh, greenery color combos, which is the olive and evergreen combo. Those are our 2 deepest shades of green, and they just look really stunning together. And I thought the juxtaposition with the more light and warm tones in the flowers would look really great with the more dark toned greenery. Plus, the greenery is pretty small in these images. They're not big pieces of greenery, so I thought it would really help the images pop. So for this final stencil, we are using evergreen, which is probably our truly darkest shade of green. Olive and evergreen are the 2 darkest shades in our 2 green color families currently, but I would say evergreen is the darker of the 2. So we have our ink blending finished up, and just look at how pretty that turned out. So now I went ahead and I cut an arch from white cardstock. That's our nested arch set. It's new in this release as well. And of course, there's the coordinating hot foil plates. So I cut out an arch that would work with the stencil from the nested, or excuse me, the arch floral stencil set. And I'm just taking a little bit of Ocean Breeze ink and I am going to ink blend an arch shape into this panel. And the look that I'm going for here is almost like a window. So it's going to be very subtle, but I want it to look in the end that in the background you're kind of looking out into blue sky. So that was the kind of scene I was going for. So as I mentioned, I am just mixing and matching all the products here. There's this fantastic congrats sentiment in the Happy for You stamp set that is releasing in this one, or in this release, pardon me. I love this script font. I love that the sentiment is a little bigger, a little bolder. Of course, it has a coordinating die, which we love. I am just going to ink this up in some detail black ink so I have a nice crisp impression. I thought that this card, as you see it a little bit later when it gets closer to being finished, I thought it would be perfect for babies, for engagements, for weddings. So just the congrats sentiment. You could always change that up to a different one if you wanted to use it for something else. But I really thought it would be perfect. So I didn't do the foiling in the video because I had pre-foiled that after my YouTube live a couple of weeks ago on the YouTube, Pinkfresh YouTube channel. I had the solid piece left over and I went ahead and foiled it. So for the sake of time, we're just using that. We are going to go ahead and do all of the die cutting currently. So I am just lining up that one piece die with the florals. Gotta love the one piecer, so you don't have to line up multiple little dies to get all of those floral pieces cut out. And then I went ahead and did all of the die cutting off screen. So you'll see that with the nested arch, I just die cut out the inner arch, and then used a stitched rectangle to cut out the panel. I've also die cut a the geotiles die from a white cardstock panel, and then I die cut the sentiment and the flowers with their coordinating dies, cutting a couple extra sentiments for stacking purposes. And that's what I just showed you there. So we have all of our pieces. And so I wanted to mention, so I'm using those circle florals with the nested arch design. And while they don't specifically go together, they do work lovely together. The arch has that nice curve in it where the curved florals um, can work, same as the circles. And then here, even though this has a curve, I'm just going to make it work at the bottom of the arch. And then I can just trim away that little bit of excess. And you still get this little beautiful garden of flowers at the bottom of your arch. And so I of course like to showcase how you can utilize your products in all different ways. So I thought it would be really fun in today's video to really just mix it up and use the entire release for this card. Of course, you don't have to do that. If you wanted to just purchase one of the product suites, whether you prefer the circles or the arches, you can absolutely create um, this exact card with just the one product suite. So I just wanted to showcase how lovely they work together. So right now I am just adding that geo tiles to the background. And I wanted it to kind of look like a window pane in a way, like a fancy window pane. And so when you're gluing it down, I got a little aggressive and kind of bent my panel. So just be careful when you do that. In the end, it worked out. I got it smoothed out so it didn't look too bad. But if you do the same thing that I do, the way that I put the paper over it to glue it, to set that glue in place, maybe just be a little bit gentler with it. I got a little aggressive there. So I want this panel to pop up off the background. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of foam tape to the back. I needed some thinner foam tape, and the foam tape that you typically see me use is, I think, 3/4 inch from 3M. But my friends at ThermaWeb sent me a couple packs of this foam tape, and it's not as wide. And I needed that because I needed it to fit within those borders I had. So that is not 3M foam tape. It is iCraft, which I believe is done by ThermaWeb, just for reference. So I realized once I put everything together that I didn't really mark a place for putting that arch in, the ink blended arch. And so I kind of thought about it for a minute off camera and then realized, oh, I can add some pencil lines to help me put it into place. And that worked perfectly. So, um, probably would have been best if I would have adhered it down first when I had that uh, full arch available for using as placement. In a pinch, adding in the pencil lines worked perfectly. So, if you find yourself creating a card like this and you forget to do that, at least now you know how I fixed my little mistake, just my oversight, and it'll give you some ideas on how to fix placement when you kind of make a little oversight like that. So, with the ink blended arch being put down, I'm going ahead and I'm adhering the rest of that panel down with the foam tape. And I just like the little bit of added dimension that the window gives over top of that blending, which I intended to look a little bit like the sky. And so now we're going to adhere down that final piece of the circle of flowers, just arranging along top the curve, the left side curve in the arch. And I think it's just a really pretty little trellis or wedding arch. I think that's really perfect. Arches were really big in the wedding industry for a long time. They probably still are here and there. Um, but they were definitely a huge decoration piece for a long time in the wedding industry. So that's probably where a lot of my inspiration came from for this card because I photographed weddings for quite a long time. So we're going to finish up just by adhering down that congrats sentiment. Like I mentioned earlier, I think this card would be really perfect for a baby shower or an engagement party or a wedding gift. You could even find a little secondary sentiment to put there along with it. And I had to find a little place for that tiny little extra flower stem that comes with the stamps. And I thought tucking it in with the sentiment was perfect. So now we're going to finish by embellishing. Now these are two sets of our new ombre glitter drops, which are just stunning, friends. I turned them over in my little gold trays here, and so you could see them a little bit better. Awesome thing about these is they are multicolored within each pack. And then the actual glitter drops themselves also have that ombre effect as well. So you'll see them fade in between the different colors we have allocated per pop. And they have about the most magical names you can imagine. So the sets I'm using today are Pixie Dust and Sparkle and Shine. The other sets are named things like Twilight and glittering mountains and enchanted forest and starry sky and magic potion. There's just so many. The names are almost as fun as the actual glitter or ombre glitter drops themselves. I think you're going to really love creating with these and adding them to your projects. They're super beautiful and so pretty. So I just adhered them down with some Barely Arts liquid glue. That's my favorite glue. And just look at how fun they are. I think the colors complemented my ink blending perfectly on that. And I did finish off by adding a little secondary sentiment inside the card, turning this into a wedding card for sure. Well, that is my card for today. I hope you enjoyed watching it come together. Don't forget, we do have a blog hop going on with tons of inspiration and also a lot of prizes, so you'll definitely want to check that out. And I'll have both a shopping link for the new release and a blog hop link in my video description below. Other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Bye.